Yes, think with me, please, on this subject entitled Serpents and Rainbows. Serpents and Rainbows. We're looking at the book of Matthew, the 10th chapter, verses 16. Matthew, the 10th chapter, verses 16. Behold, I send you out as sheep in the midst of wolves. So, be wise as serpents and innocent as doves. Loyalty, like milk, has an expiration date. It can become spoiled and also rotten. Beware of those who are in your circle, but who are not necessarily in your corner. See, the time has come for us to social distance ourselves from negative people because they have been infected by an extremely contagious virus. Their toxicity will indeed kill you, destroy your dreams, murder your visions, and delay and or destroy your destination. You see, toxic people, negative people, whining people, negative vibrations and negative vibes are serial killers for people who are poised on their purpose and towards their purposeful living. They are rapists. They are murderers. They are zombies. They are demons. You should stay away. You should stay away. Serpents and rainbows. You see, in life, there's always this wrestle or this battle with duality. You have the good, you have the bad, you have right, you have left, you have up, and you have down. We're always dealing with dualities. I came up with this vision of serpents and rainbows, in that every day we are battling with negativity and or positivity. Listen, there are people on your timeline right now that are following you, that are not following you for your betterment. Are you listening to me? In fact, they can't wait for you to fail, fall, or fumble. Let me tell you something. I got to thinking about this subject, and guess what I thought about? Judas, that's right. Judas Iscariot was with Jesus all day, every day. It was almost as if they were best friends. They worked together. They slept together. They ate together. And for all intents and purposes, Judas knew everything about Jesus. He knew his location. He knew where he was sleeping. He knew what he was going to be eating. You see, Judas was there with Jesus all day, every day, only for one day to become treacherous. I say loyalty has an expiration date. Loyalty has an expiration date. Zora Neale Hurston put it this way. I love the way Zora Neale Hurston puts it. All of my skin folk ain't my kinfolk. You see, in the days of the civil rights movement, I would like to remind many of you that there was a dastardly program called COINTELPRO. COINTELPRO was designed to destroy all groups of people who were organizing during the time, especially if they were organizing for the rights, for the freedom and the independence of Black and brown people. And so they sent traitors. In fact, Judas Iscariots were trained to be serpents within the movement. And these things have not changed today. There, in fact, have been reports of there being people who were starting and agitating the protests that started. Most of them were peaceful. In fact, all of the protests were peaceful. And you had fringe groups of individuals, right? We had a tape of an individual with an umbrella who was breaking windows in Minneapolis. And he had this umbrella knowing that the facial recognition would pick him up. Indeed, because of the video, it was found that he was an actual police officer. Listen, I send you as sheep amongst wolves. You have to be as wise as a serpent, but harmless as doves. We are living in some serious times, and we want to make sure that everybody is safe and that they are aware, and most importantly, that you don't focus on the haters. You just continue to get greater. So be mindful that some people are just around basically to wait for you to fall down. Some people would do better than to take delight in your decimation. Don't worry about them, because you are protected. Greater is he that is in you than he that is in the world. You see, listen, I want you to recognize that when your foolish and foul so-called friends and family begin their falsifications and their frequent findings of fault and fabrications, that you take it as merely fuel and fodder for your footsteps. Walk away. Walk away. It is not for you to try to convince people of your greatness. That's not your job. It's not your job. In fact, stop telling people where the parade is so they won't rain on it. Okay? You got to move in silence in these last and perilous days, because some people are not to be trusted. Some people, unfortunately, are not there for you to shine. In fact, they are those people who are jealous and envious. They are jealous and envious people. And why would they be jealous and envious if they were focused on their own mission? You see, the problem is idle mind is a devil's workshop, because you're not about focused on what you should be doing. You're worried about what everybody else is doing. Don't you hate when, on the job, the types who are not your boss, but want to play like they're everybody's boss? I hate that. Listen, at your wage, not your shoe size. That department of administration and administrative affairs is not within your purview. It's not within your auspices. Like I said, there are serpents and then there are rainbows. I'll finish with this. Being different, being outstanding, right, is and can be quite hazardous. It can be quite hazardous. Being different and comfortable in your skin and glowing will create hazardous situations. When you are shining, it highlights and exposes other people's weaknesses and insecurities. You shine a light on their insecurities. In fact, you're shining so brightly that they cannot afford to see. See, light is good, but too much light is blinding. And heavy is the head of he or she that wears the crown. You see, you're going to have to be ready for your kingship. Christ in his kingly character drew the rage of the leaders of Judea and in Jerusalem because they were jealous. They were jealous because he was speaking of love and a new way of living. And that's okay, because your destiny is your destiny, and nobody can take you away from your purposeful living in life. There is somewhere over the rainbow, there is a pot of gold. And I'm not talking about Lucky Charms. When you continue to be dogmatically determined, right? To not be deterred, right? Towards your pathway, you will begin to recognize and realize all of the blessings. Listen, guess what my favorite verse nowadays is? I'm in Malachi. You know, open up the windows of heaven. You know, a lot of people like to dwell on the first part of that verse. I wonder why. No, I think all scripture is given for. All scripture is good. Let's deal on the part, though, I think I'm highlighting for the moment, okay? God promised that he will open up the windows of heaven and pour you out a blessing that you won't have enough room to receive. You see, that's the position I'm placing myself in. That's why I want to partner with some other folks, because I don't want to be in a position where I want to eat alone. No, I want partners. I want the table and the cup to runneth over. You understand what I'm saying? Because it will. It will. And so I want to be around good people so we can enjoy together. Listen, as I always say, refuse to be acclimated in places and a position where you are consistently berated instead of celebrated, appreciated, and merely tolerated. This has been Irvin Daphnis, ID, the motivational lawyer, attorney, civil rights attorney, and your keynote speaker. God bless you, and God bless America.